Okay, so hello. Today I will be talking about the pros and cons of standardized testing for my final exam. So, what I will be talking about today is the question of is it really benefiting students or is it just an easy measurement for schools? And the trend that is residing today is why shouldn't standardized testing be a thing? And how it affects the community, students, institutions are all keys in residing why the trend is a debate itself. So the question is, what is standardized testing? So standardized testing is any test that's administered, scored, and interpreted in a standard predetermined manner. These tests can often have multiple choice questions that can be quickly graded by automated test scoring machines. Some tests can also incorporate open-ended questions that require human grading. So, from the definition, it sounds pretty straightforward, but many parents and teachers have a strong dislike of these tests. To put it simply, those who dislike the tests believe it may lessen students' confidence and are incorrectly measuring students' knowledge. And for those who are for this testing, they believe it's a metric for learning. It shows pinpoint areas to improve for not only the school, but for the teachers and the students themselves, and it may help schools decipher progress. So, with that being said, both sides are very validated, and that's why this debate has gone on for so long. So, now we're going to move on to the history of standardized testing. So, I didn't know this, but standardized testing dates all the way back to 1838. That's when formal learning assessments became a thing. But it wasn't until 2001 that testing became the measure of all things. It was said that the No Child Left Behind education reform is expanding state-mandated standardized testing to assess school performance. Now that students are tested each year of grade school as well. So this means that in 2001, testing took flight and was widely used to assess students' knowledge. However, in 2015, Every Student Succeeds Act was passed. The ESSA takes steps to reduce standardized testing and decouples testing, and high stakes decision making. This is important because the ESSA can help grant waivers and hold accountability to the testing and what it does itself. So, the most significant time that dated this trend and questioned standardized testing was COVID-19 in 2020. This is because everybody was sent home and standardized testing had to come to a halt. This caused and influenced colleges and universities to become test optional and or eliminate the option to submit scores altogether. There's a current debate as to whether colleges and universities should or shouldn't keep test scores required. However, it truly is up to the institution itself, and there's multiple reasonings behind keeping it or not keeping it. Dartmouth College or University, I don't know which one it is, reason that this will increase the equity in the admissions progress. SATs and ACTs can be helpful in identifying students from less resourced backgrounds who would succeed at Dartmouth but might otherwise be missed in a test-optional environment. With that being said, there's reasonings that also go against being a test-required school, and that is standardized tests have become the most effective racist weapon ever devised to objectively degrade black and brown minds and legally exclude their bodies from prestigious schools. So there's a racial debate amongst testing that has been going on, and it's really important to account that into why or why shouldn't there be test optional universities and colleges. So, leading off of how there's a racial debate with standardized testing, it comes to the question of who is it affecting? So, students are clearly impacted the most, and that being said, students' experiences can be described as these tests can influence one's experience by one's cultural background, by one's access to schooling and cultural perspectives, attitudes, and know-how that might favor test performance by the extent to which one peer values school achievement, by the nature of one's dinner table conversation, and so on. Basically saying that everything affects how students perform on their standardized tests. Controversially, students said to not be the measurement of themselves, but rather the people who have taught and designed their learning. For example, tests are designed to support norm-referenced inferences about the level of achievement. For example, fourth grade mathematics are used to make inferences about the extent to which students have mastered the fourth grade content standards for mathematics in their state. Conversely, these tests are designed to support the criterion reference inferences about a student's mastery of fourth grade content standards for mathematics, and they are used to inference about their adequacy of education provided by the district. So therefore, it's saying, well, these standard testing is not for the students, it's more so to test the school and the state. So take that as you will. So overall, it's really up to the individual whether they believe standardized testing is good or not. Standardized testing over the years has become optional, so if you really don't want to take it, you don't have to. It can be assumed that standardized testing is a broad topic that's been around for over a century. It determines and tests students is hard. It can help the state, schools, colleges, and universities, but at what risk does it affect the students? Student backgrounds may very well be the effect of the outcomes of these assessments and therefore cause plausible and correct scoring. Time will tell whether standardized testing will be continued, but for now, it will be a back and forth debate.